Attack of the show. Attack.
All right, joining me from New York to help us make sense of it all, senior writer for CNET, Maggie Reardon is here. Hello, Maggie. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad that you've chosen to join us via satellite and not Tier 3 Google Verizon-backed private internet something so you don't buffer. What are the basics of this Google Verizon proposal? Are they trying to create a new internet and completely dominate the world and kill kittens in the process?
I don't know about the killing kittens part. You know, that might be one of their dark secrets that they've got going. But no, I mean, they're not trying to kill the internet. In fact, what they're actually trying to do, or what Verizon is sort of hoping in the future they'll be able to do, is offer sort of more advanced, enhanced services. So, for example, some HD content or 3D video content, it's probably not going to stream very well over the existing public internet. So this deal or this proposal would allow them to be able to provide a service that is a premium service that you'd probably pay for to do something like that.
Is there? I get that that's. I understand that that's the proposal.
They could be doing that now.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like, at one point they said you can't do video online. Look at it; it moves at 1 frame a second and it buffers every 5 seconds. And now we have high def, we have 1080p, we have all that. So why isn't the logical conclusion that in X amount of time, when people start providing higher speed broadband to the home, we can provide 3D movies? Why do we have to charge extra for the cables or the services that it's running over?
Well, you may not, and that really will come down to you know, whichever company is providing it, right? I mean, Verizon isn't saying that they're going to make people buy this service. They're just proposing that they want to make sure that there aren't rules in place that would prohibit them if someone ever came to them and said, hey, I want to offer 3D video and I don't think the public internet's going to cut it, so I want to do a deal with you and sell this premium service. You know, this isn't saying that these plans are in the works. Verizon and Google are trying to safeguard against having rules in place that would prohibit something like that in the future.
Right.
And basically they're saying we don't know what the future is going to hold.
Right.
You know, maybe there's going to be some medical monitoring application that somebody wants to offer, and they don't want it to go over the public internet.
Or hey, if you really want to tend to your farm in Farmville, or if you really want to watch those hamsters dance, you got to pay an extra $50 a month. That could be the future that we hit as well. And it's interesting because in their proposal, it looked like on the wired side of things, that the tech reporters are suggesting that, you know, that they want a hands-off approach. They want net neutrality on the wired side of things. But on the wireless side of things, they seem to suggest that, well, maybe this net neutrality is a bad thing when it starts being broadcast over the air. Is that true?
Well, basically what it is Verizon and AT&T and other broadband providers never like the idea of net neutrality rules, but they're willing to live with it if it's just on the wireline side. They're not willing to live with it if it's on wireless. They say that it's just completely wrong to apply the same rules because wireless networks are bandwidth constrained. So they're saying we need to be able to manage our networks, and we can't do that if we have all these kinds of rules and regulations telling us not to do it.
But do you personally, Maggie, do you think that's a ridiculous argument, being that initially when the internet started and it was wired, there were bandwidth constraints as well, and yet without these all sorts of special rules and whatnot, everything went just fine without people having tiered internets?
Well, I think that they have a point. I think you also have to look, wireless is a different technology, and the wireless network of 5 years ago, those services, there was the walled garden. You couldn't get anything on your phone unless AT&T or Verizon okayed it. So things have come quite a long way in the last 5 years. So, but I think they have to protect their networks. I think that they could draft rules, though, that would allow them to be able to apply wireline net neutrality type of regulation to wireless. But of course, they don't want to give up that control. And what's interesting, though, is that Google has quite a vested interest in this. You know, they're a lot more tightly aligned with the phone companies on the wireless side than they are on the regular broadband side, because, you know, of course, they sell the Google Android phones, and they can't do that unless they're in bed with the wireless companies.
I can't wait to have this conversation over a highly censored Tier 3 internet that someone's paying 15 extra bucks for in 5 years. But Maggie, in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Maggie Reardon from CNET, thanks for keeping us in the loop.